Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Arnold, and today I'm going to be channeling Ascended Master Saint Germain and the Ascended Masters, and I'm going to be consciously channeling them, so I'm not going to go into trance, but they keep bringing up after this solar eclipse we just had and all the shifts on the planet throughout the month of April. They keep repeating, it's your time, and they want me to give you this message about how it's your time. The time is now, and it's about a lot of people that are stepping into their power, their truth from their heart, and they're still having bumps in the road. They're still having some difficulties to navigating the frequencies, navigating the energies. So they're just bringing through some messages today to inspire and empower you that you've got this. You've got this. So there's no need to put your tools back in the toolbox because you're about to build what you came to create, and it's time for you to receive. So he's saying for those that are having a difficult time, he just wants to remind you that when you're stepping into your power, when you're putting out to the universe, this is what I want, this is what my value is, this is what I'm worth, and then you're waiting for the universe to respond to that, and the universe will bring you in different energies to match that frequency. But sometimes people have some subconscious beliefs or beliefs from past lifetimes that they're not aware of. And so the frequency might be of a lower value than what you believe you're worth. And the universe is just showing you that. So they might send in someone who bullies you or someone who offers you a gift. And it's oh, am I going to receive that? Is this coming with stipulations? Is this coming with ties? Am I going to have to owe this person? Is this person going to try to own me if I receive this gift? And so the universe is just bringing you what you believe your value is. And so if the universe brings you a gift and it has all these ties to something that's you're going to have to give your power away. Saint Germain's saying not to receive it. It's okay to say no and tell the universe that you would like to have something better. Bring me something more valuable, and raise your vibration to what you believe that you're worth and say, bring me that, because you're still clearing things from past lifetimes, from childhood, about what we believe our value is. So we're all awakening to remember we are God, we are source energy. But sometimes the universe will show us that we still have some subconscious beliefs that are vibrating in lack or vibrating in a lower value. And you'll know because the gift will come with maybe a superior fed ego that's going to try to take your power or bully you or try to own you. So when these gifts come in, it's okay to say no and just tell the universe, bring me something better, and then work on transmuting those frequencies within you. And then the universe will begin to deliver something that's more valuable to reflect the value you're seeing within yourself. So to work on those things, he's saying work with your inner child. Tell her that you don't need anybody outside of yourself to receive those. So some of us are having beliefs from childhood where it's oh, I need somebody else to help me achieve success, or I need somebody else to assist me because I can't do it on my own, or I need somebody else to fund the project because I'm not valuable enough to receive it myself. So just go in and work with your inner child and tell her or him that they are more than enough, her, him, or they, that they're more than enough and that they're worthy of receiving. And tell the universe that you would like something better if it's coming with something that you have to give your power away with. So nobody can take our power. It's always us giving it. So the universe doesn't care what we want. The universe just wants to know what we desire. So it doesn't care. So it might bring you a gift. And if there's a saying called that not all money is good money. So this gift might be tied to somebody who's going to hurt you, or it might come with a price that you'd have to give your power away. So just tell the universe, no, I'm more worthy than that. The universe is just used to always bringing us that because that was the value we had put on ourselves before. But now we're changing this value. And he says your time is now. So for any of you that are getting frustrated that you keep getting blocks or that you keep getting, triggers or attacks from people from the universe, just know that you can change it. Just keep telling the universe that you're more valuable than that. Like, thank you for bringing that gift, but no, I want something better. And then wait for the next thing to come in. While you're waiting, make sure you're raising your vibration to receive that. So give that value to yourself, give your respect to yourself, go out and start doing things for yourself, like exercising, eating right. Show yourself how valuable you believe you are, because if you believe you're that valuable, it's going to reflect back to you. So the most important thing he's saying is not to criticize yourself if you do have like an addiction, or you do have, procrastination or something. He's like, don't criticize yourself in that moment. Instead, saying, I'm doing the best I can, or else I wouldn't be doing this right now. So you're always doing the best you can. So stopping the criticism will increase your value. So no more self-criticism. If all you can do in one day is get up and shower and then go for a walk and then do like an hour of creativity, and that's it, that's all you have, and you put that energy out to the universe, then that's all you have that day, and that's okay. Maybe the next day you'll have more energy to work a bit longer on what your life goals are, or where you want the energy to go, or work on your own self, or meditate, or work with your inner child. So if you can only get a little bit done in one day, don't get mad at yourself. He says, that's when I don't want you to beat yourself up. So he's also showing me there's the game on planet Earth, and what this game is that we all came to play. And I know that most of you know this game, but he's just explaining it in a way that's a little bit more, he's saying that this will benefit someone. So he's bringing in us as humans. He's covering the whole planet. So he's showing me this in my third eye. He's covering the whole planet, and he's just removed all our physical bodies. So he took our costumes off. So our spirit comes to planet Earth, and then we put on these costumes, and we wear these costumes, these human costumes. So he just removed them all. And he's saying, if you came to play a game on planet Earth, what costume would you pick to wear? Because a lot of you are wearing these costumes, and it's like, oh, my costume's too tight. My costume's not fitting right. My costume's uncomfortable. My costume has pain. And there's a certain costume that we all chose to wear while we're playing the game on planet Earth. It's like a play. It's like you're on stage. So when you come down, you pick your costume. You're either going to pick a costume that has an inferior fed ego or a superior fed ego, which is like the inferior fed ego would be more empathic, more sensitivity. I don't like to use labels. Saint Germain saying don't use labels, but this is the only way that I can kind of explain it in our terminology for like on planet Earth, like as humans, is these labels, but not to judge these labels, because they're just, everybody's equal in the game. So we're all equal. So you either have an inferior fed ego or a superior fed ego. So the superior fed ego would be more of like the bully or the narcissist. And then the inferior fed ego is more like the empathic or the always giving too much. So all the spirits are floating around the planet, and they decide to put on their costumes. So they're either going to wear an inferior fed ego costume, because we're all in the ego game, or they're going to wear the superior fed ego costume. But the game is that they're both looking for the same thing. So their egos are looking for love outside of themselves. So we put on our human costumes, and half of us wear an inferior fed ego costume, and half of us wear a superior fed ego costume. So it's the polarity. So it's like the person that's inferior and the person that believes they're superior. So it's the polarities or the opposite. So they're playing the opposite game to each other, but both egos are searching for love outside of themselves. So the inferior fed ego says, I'm going to please the superior fed ego so that they will love me. And the superior fed ego says, if the inferior fed ego pleases me, then I'll know I'm loved. But they're both seeking the same thing. So in the game of awakening, when your spirit begins to get louder than your ego, you go on a spiritual journey. And a lot of you that are here for that reason. You're on your spiritual awakening journey. So during that journey, if you're empathic, if you're an inferior fed ego, then you would begin to awaken first, simply because the superior fed ego can't awaken until the empath or the inferior fed ego gets their power with them. That's the game. So the spiritual body that's in the narcissist or the superior fed ego or the sociopath wants the empath or the inferior fed ego to stop pleasing and feeding their ego. Because when they stop pleasing them, then their spirit can start to awaken. But if the inferior fed ego is always pleasing the narcissist, the superior fed ego, because they're afraid of being attacked, they're afraid of conflict, they're afraid they're not being able to keep the peace, then what happens is the superior fed ego can never awaken. So I know on the journey, Saint Germain showing me how difficult this is for an inferior fed ego or an empath to get their power, to say no, to stop pleasing the superior fed ego. But you're in disservice when you feed their ego, because they can never awaken until you stop feeding it. So as soon as you stop feeding it, they have to look in, but they can't look in if you're pleasing their ego. So this is the game. So for those of you that are empaths and you're having a difficult time and you keep getting sent all these narcissists or all these superior fed egos and you're always getting attacked, it's getting louder so that you'll stop pleasing them. That's getting louder. It's like the universe is shouting at you. How much are you going to take? How much are you going to allow people to belittle you? So how much are you going to allow the superior fed ego to take your power, to bully you? They can't take your power, but how much of your power are you going to give to them? How much times are you going to keep feeding them? You have to get to a point where you love you more than you need to please the narcissist. You have to love you more than you need to please a superior fed ego. And if you're not looking for love outside of yourself, then you'll never have to please one. You only have to please them if you're seeking for validation outside yourself, or if you're seeking love outside yourself. So Saint Germain says the time is now to stop feeding the superior fed ego. Now this is going to be a journey for many, a big journey. It's an uphill battle. Do not beat yourself up if you know there's times where you fall down, where you just please them anyway to avoid a conflict. You're doing the best you can at all times, but the mission here is to get into your power and not need love outside yourself. So each time that somebody bullies you or attacks you, just check in. Did I just respond to them to love me, to love my inner child, or did I just respond to them to please them or feed their ego? Check in when you type a message to someone. Somebody emails you. How are you responding to them? Are you feeding their ego in that response? Did everything that you wrote, every sentence, go through every sentence? Did I write that sentence to love me, to love the God within me, to expand my consciousness, to love my inner child? Or did I just feed their ego? Okay, so there's some people that are still finding it difficult to go in instead of out. But if you go in and give that love to yourself instead of pleasing the narcissistic or the superior fed ego, then they can begin to awaken too. Because as soon as you do that, their ego says, that person didn't please me. And then their spirit says, oh, I'm here. And then they can go in because they didn't get fed. So they will come to you a few times, and then if their ego is really needing to get fed, they're going to go somewhere else to find it. So a lot of you that are getting bullied and you're getting beat up and you're getting just frustrated with all these attacks, just know that if you stop feeding the ego, it's going to get louder at first because their ego is going to say, I need them to feed me. And so it's going to get a little bit louder. But eventually they will go find somebody else to feed them, and then they get removed from your reality. And then the universe says, oh, this person knows what their value is. They're saying, I'm not going to put up with that bully. I'm not going to put up with that person that is making me feel small or inferior. I'm not going to allow that person to make me feel small or inferior. Because again, Saint Germain's correcting me. He's saying, they can't take your power. They can't make you feel small. It's only you making yourself feel small. So by not pleasing the bully, by not feeding the superior fed ego, and by going in, you expand your consciousness. It's like, oh, I've got to love the God within me, because when I don't, it's keeping it small. And if I keep my own spirit small, it's causing a separation in the universe, because the universe wants to be whole, because everything's one energy. So the universe is saying, if you're keeping your own self inferior, your own light dim, if your spirit is like shrunken in like this and it's not expanded out, then the universe stays separate, because the universal divine light can't reach you because you're keeping yourself small. The only way to get your light big again is to not feed the egos around you. So take your time with it. Just do it in little gentle steps. You don't have to all of a sudden just start, saying no to everybody or not responding. It's okay to not respond as well. There's some people that keep pleasing people or keep responding to people. He's showing me like a hairdresser, like you keep going to the same hairdresser, not because you like the haircut. You're going to the same hairdresser because you're afraid that if you stop going, that they're going to get mad. It's little things like that. Like, how many things are you doing in a day to please someone else and feed their needs rather than taking care of your own? You're willing to take the bad haircut in order to please somebody's ego. This is where he's saying that the time is now. It's time to stop feeding that. So again, it's in little steps. Just maybe do it like, try it out, do it a little bit at a time, and not get yourself overwhelmed with like too many attacks at once. Because once you start getting your power, then from your heart, this is all power from the heart, not power from the head. Because as you begin to love the God within you, it expands out. And it's heart-centered. So it's like your heart is growing. It's expanding out. So check in. Did I just do that? When I just said that, did I say that to love me or please them? Did I just say that to love the God within me? Because the God within you wants to be whole again. It wants to be one energy. And the superior fed ego, their spirit wants to awaken as well. And they can't awaken if the inferior fed ego keeps pleasing them. So take your time with it. Just try this once or twice a day with certain areas in your life and just see how it feels. Don't be afraid to get attacked, because it's none of your business how somebody else reacts to your actions. So if some people are going to get upset, they're going to say, why isn't she pleasing me? She's always pleased me. That's been our relationship our whole life. And then all of a sudden she stops pleasing me. That's going to upset me, and I'm going to attack her somehow. And that's okay. It's none of our business how somebody else reacts to us loving ourselves. So that's what I'm saying. Start it off. If you're not doing this already, start it off, just a little bit at a time. Just see how you feel every time that you do get your power from your heart, that you're not feeding somebody else's ego and letting yourself be a doormat and get walked all over. So what begins to happen as you begin to go in and love the God within you and expand that consciousness is your human costume begins to fit better. It feels not so tight or not too loose or not so uncomfortable, maybe less pain. So your human costume begins to feel more comfortable because you're going in and expanding the consciousness within you by loving yourself and creating more of a harmony with the rest of the universe, with the rest of divine love, you're reconnecting to that. So you naturally will feel better. So the superior fed ego can't awaken until the empath gets their power. So the time is now. Everyone get into loving yourself, and you will find that the shifts in the universe will be tremendous just by going in instead of out, because we all have the same goal. We're all trying to get to the end result of not needing to find love outside ourselves. So I hope this helps, and thanks for watching. We will see you next time with another message from Ascended Master Saint Germain and the Ascended Masters. Good night.